Every morning, before the sun could even rise above the tall palm trees in Oloron village, little Amina was already up. Her tiny feet walked barefoot across the dusty compound, sweeping, fetching water, and washing plates from the night before. Her grandmother, Mama Titi, stood by the door, holding a cane in her hand. Mama Titi said to Amina, "You call that clean? Wash it again, lazy girl." Amina didn't cry anymore. She had learned to swallow her tears like warm water. But her heart ached every time. She remembered her mother's soft voice, long gone. They said she died when Amina was just 4. Since then, Mama Titi raised her, but not with love. No, Mama Titi treated her more like a servant than a granddaughter. The smell of burnt firewood filled the air as she cooked breakfast she would never taste. Mama Titi would eat, drink, and go to the market, leaving Amina hungry, tired, and alone. That afternoon, Amina sat by the small stream behind the house. Her feet dipped in the cool water. The breeze carried stories from the city, stories she had heard from boys selling mangoes by the road. They spoke of big houses, fine dresses, and people who smiled from inside fast cars. Amina wondered, do people really live like that? Suddenly, Mama Titi's voice shattered her thoughts. "Lazy girl, why are you sitting there? Go and fetch the firewood before I come back." Amina ran. Not because she was afraid of the beating, but because she didn't want to cry in front of her. Still, as the wind blew through the trees, it seemed to whisper, "One day, Amina, one day." That night, it rained heavily. Amina slept on the cold floor, her mat soaked through. She covered herself with a thin wrapper, teeth chattering. In her dreams, she saw a house with lights as bright as the stars. She wore a red dress, and someone was smiling at her, someone kind. The next morning, she told Mama Titi, "Grandma, I saw a big house in my dream, and a man gave me shoes." Mama Titi, "Shoo, look at you, dreaming of shoes when you can't even sweep properly. That dream is useless, just like you." Amina lowered her head, but deep inside, the dream warmed her chest like a cup of hot pap. One day, Mama Titi sent Amina to fetch firewood from the edge of the forest. But this time, the usual spot had already been cleared, and Mama Titi pointed further down the path, much farther than Amina had ever gone alone. With a curious mix of courage and caution, the 10-year-old set out, her bare feet brushing over the dry earth as she hummed a song her mother used to sing. The towering trees swayed above her, their rustling leaves echoing her melody as she ventured deeper into the woods. Then it happened. Her foot slipped on a wet rock. She tumbled down a small slope and landed hard. She cried out, "Help!" But only the trees answered. For hours she lay there, her ankles swollen. She thought of her mother. She whispered, "If you can see me, please help me." Just as the sun began to set, a black car rolled slowly down the village path. Inside was Mr. Durojaye, a rich businessman visiting his late uncle's farmland nearby. He saw the girl lying by the side of the road. He stopped the car. Mr. Durojaye asked her, "Hey, are you okay?" Amina tried to sit up, but winced in pain. Amina replied weakly, "My leg, I fell." Without a second thought, he carried her gently into his car. Mr. Durojaye said, "Don't worry, I'll take care of you." It was the first time Amina had ever heard such kindness. When Amina opened her eyes, she was lying on a soft bed. The air smelled of fresh flowers. A kind-looking woman stood beside her holding a tray of warm soup. The woman told her, "Mr. Durojaye said to make sure you eat well." For days, Amina was cared for like a princess. No shouting, no beatings, just peace. Mr. Durojaye came to check on her every evening. Mr. Durojaye said to her, "What's your name?" "Amina." And she said, "Amina." Mr. Durojaye replied her again, "You have the smile of someone special, Amina." She held on to those words like treasure. After a week, Mr. Durojaye asked where she lived. Amina said, "With my grandmother, Mama Titi." When he took her back to the compound, Mama Titi ran out, angry. Mama Titi asked her, "Where have you been, you foolish girl?" Mr. Durojaye stood tall. Then Mr. Durojaye answered her. "She had an accident. I took her to my home for treatment. Mama Titi replied, "She's my granddaughter. You should have asked me." He noticed the fear in Amina's eyes and the bruise on her arm. He asked calmly, "Do you hurt her?" Mama Titi looked away. Mr. Durojai returned the next day. Mr. Durojai said to Mama Titi, "Mama Titi, I'd like to take Amina in. I'll put her in school, give her a better life." Mama Titi hesitated. She saw the firm look in his eyes and maybe the guilt in her heart. She nodded slowly. Then Mama Titi replied, "Take her. Maybe it's her time." And just like that, Amina's life changed. Amina stood in front of her new school, wearing a clean uniform and shiny black shoes. Her heart raced. Mr. Durojai patted her back gently. Mr. Durojai said to her, "You'll do great, Amina. Just be yourself." The other girls looked at her curious, but Amina walked tall. She wasn't the barefoot girl anymore. One night, Amina found an old letter in a box Mr. Durojai gave her. It was from her mother. "Letter, to my darling Amina, if you ever feel lost, remember you have light inside you," she cried. Happy tears. For the first time in years, she felt her mother near. Months passed. Mama Titi came to visit Amina at Mr. Durojai's house. She looked older, softer. Mama Titi looked at her and said, "Amina, you've grown." Amina hugged her, tears flowing. Then Amina said to her, "Thank you for saying yes." Mama Titi whispered, "I was wrong. You were never useless." Years later, Amina stood before a crowd giving a speech at her graduation. Mr. Durojai sat in front, clapping proudly. Amina said, "I once lived in darkness, but someone believed in me, and now I shine." Her voice cracked with emotion. The crowd stood and clapped. The girl who once slept on a wet mat now walked into a future full of light.